Hello again. Today we are continuing our discussion on recruitment and selection. And as we were saying it yesterday, recruitment and selection is the first major function that any HR department has to deal with. Bringing new people to the company, filling in vacancies, making sure that there are enough of well-qualified employees working in the company, in the organization. By the way, let me share my screen and remind you that you need to work on quiz 1. I got emails from several students already that they have completed quiz 1. Although it will be open until April 27th, until the day before the midterm exam, but still it is better not to postpone it if you can. So take time to write the quiz, especially since this quiz is based on the knowledge which we have been talking about right now. So since you remember everything and the knowledge is fresh, just log in, complete the quiz, and it will be easier for you since the first assignment will be off your shoulders. And now let me open the presentations, and we will be talking about, and we will continue talking about recruitment and selection. So stop sharing. So last class session yesterday, we started talking about recruitment, and we were saying that recruitment is the first step out of two steps, recruitment and selection, which together comprise talent acquisition. So talent acquisition is a fancy title, a fancy name, but it means bringing well-qualified new personnel to an organization. And last class session, we finished by discussing that the major sources of external recruitment are recruitment agencies and job search websites. And I'd like to remind you that there are two types of recruitment. There is external recruitment and there is internal recruitment. And yesterday we were talking about pluses and minuses for both of them. Internal hiring is when the company has a policy of promoting from within. So the same employees who work in the company, they can be hired for, for more advanced positions in the same company. And there are pluses and minuses for this. External hiring is when the company has a policy to hire only from the outside. So employees generally are not promoted inside the company, and only new to fill in the position, a company or an organization always looks outside. And there are pluses and minuses here as well. So smart companies combine these two approaches. So if it is better, the company promotes from within. If it is another approach is better, the company hires from the outside. And this is definitely a smart way to deal with hiring. And when we talk about external recruitment, when new employees are brought from the outside, recruitment agencies are used extensively in this approach, and of course, job search websites. And we talked a little bit about recruitment agencies yesterday. Let me continue this discussion. There are pros and cons when an organization is using the service of a recruitment agency. See, a company can conduct all the recruitment and selection process by itself, definitely. Or the company can do it by itself using job search websites by itself, or getting the work from the very beginning until the end by itself. But recruitment agencies simply save time. Hiring someone is a long process. Creating the pool of candidates is a long process. So recruitment takes lots of time, lots of effort, and HR departments, any HR department in pretty much any organization is very busy. There are very many things to do. So usually HR people do not want to waste time, at least on the initial, going through initial CVs, making the initial phone calls, just a couple of questions. So it takes time, and this work is not extremely qualified, meaning a person with even the minimum of knowledge in HR can do this. That's why companies often use the services of recruitment agencies, and recruitment agencies actually are well qualified to to create this value for companies. They a lot from job search websites CVs. They go through CVs. They choose which ones can deserve to be looked again. They conduct the first interviews. So recruitment agencies do all this job, and then usually they create a list of, it is called the short list, a list of potential candidates who look well enough, who look good enough, so that a company now can conduct the second interview with people on this list. So this is called a short list. But there are definitely a lot of advantages when a company uses recruitment agencies, but there are also disadvantages. And one of the advantages is recruitment agencies, first of all, save time, as I have already said. And then recruitment agencies also can provide candidates to the company which signed a contract with the recruitment agency for filling in a particular vacancy. So recruitment agency can supply the list of candidates quickly. Why? Because recruitment agencies have huge databases, and it is what they do. For example, they have databases for for pretty much any potential position in the companies that they work with. For example, they have databases for for sales managers. They have databases for marketing managers, for receptionists, for any position in the company. And right now we are talking about recruitment agency. There are actually two types of agencies which help companies to hire. There are recruitment agencies and headhunting agencies. Recruitment agencies provide services of hiring any personnel until the top management position. So headhunting agencies then help companies hire top managers. So the country managers, CEOs, this is the responsibility of headhunters, not recruitment agencies. So if when you own your companies, you will know that if you, for example, need the top manager, for example, vice president in your company, you will sign a contract with a headhunting agency. And everyone else can be, for any other positions, you deal with recruitment agencies. So all of this to say that recruitment agencies have huge databases for potential candidates. This is how they make money. So the larger databases they have, the more information they have on potential candidates, the quicker they can help the company fill in the position, and the sooner they will get their money. So that's why they really work hard to create and to sustain databases and to update them constantly. So that's great. The disadvantage here is that it is expensive, and companies, recruitment agencies usually charge, currently it is 20-25% of an annual salary plus bonuses of the employee whom this recruitment agency has helped the company with. So, for example, if the company signed a contract with a recruitment agency for hiring, for example, an accountant in a company, and after this accountant had stayed for some time in the company pays, as I said, 20, 25, sometimes 27% plus bonuses to this recruitment agency, and this is a lot of money. The higher the position, definitely, the larger the salary, and so the more money the company will have to pay to recruitment agencies. And recruitment agencies always try to pump up potential candidates' salaries. For example, if the company says that the fork, so-called fork for the salary, is, for example, 40 to 50,000 per month, and the company tells recruitment agency, please do not say that 50 is that the fork is between 40 and 50. That's for you to know, but don't tell the potential candidate this. Tell that the salary is 40. So the company wants to keep this flexibility for itself. If the potential candidate is really great, but is being hesitant that he or she wants a little bit of more money, then the company still has this flexibility of this 10,000 to give to the candidate. But a company usually tells recruitment agency, don't say the highest amount of salary once again, because then the company simply doesn't have any flexibility left. But recruitment agencies, they want the person who has been hired to the company to have as large salary as possible, because that's where they get their fees. For example, as I've said, if the contract is the company pays 25% of annual salary plus bonuses, so 25% of 40,000 per month or 25% of 50,000 per month. And the change is large. That's why often recruitment agencies simply do not follow the request of the company and go ahead and tell that you can get 50,000 from the company. See, recruitment agencies usually, yes, they once again try to get as much money for themselves as possible, and they know that the companies will most of the time continue cooperating with them, because there are only few recruitment agencies usually on the market. It is not like there are 25,000 of them. No, there are few of them, and if a company needs to fill in the position quickly, so the company will need to cooperate with the recruitment agency. It may be 5, 7, 10 recruitment agencies, not more on the market. And of course, there is some flexibility for a company. I don't want to work with the recruitment agency A, but I will work with B. So there is some flexibility, but not that much. So this is as a disadvantage, large fee. Another advantage, as I have said, is it saves considerable time when it is necessary to deal with large numbers of applications. But a drawback, a disadvantage is that a recruitment agency, it is like an agent which helps the company. Of course, recruitment agencies, they want to be on good terms with companies, because even if there are 10 recruitment agencies on the market, then the company does have a flexibility. I don't want to go to recruitment agency A, but I want to choose recruitment agency, D or C, whatever. So the recruitment agencies try to work well, and they do pay attention to job description that the company gives to them when a certain candidate is being looked for. And recruitment agencies try to find the suitable candidate who corresponds well to the job requirement and to what the company describes as a good candidate. But still, not all recruitment managers in recruitment agencies are very attentive. So a company may ask for, qualification, ABC, and they will find someone with qualifications of C, W, and V, thinking, well, maybe it will work. So all this to say that recruitment agencies not always provide the company with the candidates that the company really is looking for. See if it is a recruitment manager or a manager in the company who is doing the entire process from the very beginning. Such a manager knows that, or recruitment specialist, such an employee knows that whomever is hired today will be, employee tomorrow, and everyone will need to work with this person, including this recruitment person. And so usually people in the company are significantly more cautious whom they are hiring. Recruitment agents do not have that attention, unfortunately. But not all of them, some are really good. Another disadvantage of recruitment agencies is the following. See, as I was saying before, recruitment agents make, how recruitment agencies make their living. They make their living thanks to the candidates whom they have found for companies. And if the company has hired this particular person, the company pays the fee to the recruitment agency. So the more people are hired in companies, the wealthier the recruitment agency is. Which means that recruitment agencies really try to find as many candidates as possible who later are hired by companies, which means that, for example, if a recruitment agency has helped a company find marketing specialist, and now this marketing specialist has been hired by a particular company and is happy working there. And now the same recruitment agency gets a request, signs contract with some other company, which also starts looking for marketing specialists. And now a recruitment agency has a choice. Either it will go through the long process of, going through CVs, loading CVs, finding suitable candidates for this another company, or it knows that they helped this first company with really good marketing person, and so they will contact this marketing specialist in that company where they pretty much helped this person start working. And they will tell this marketing specialist, there is another company, and this company has, a little bit better benefits, a little higher salary. Maybe there are some career opportunities there. So would you consider would you be interested to try that new company? Of course, not all recruitment agencies do this, but some do, and you never know. So when all this to say is that when when an employee has been hired through a recruitment agency, there are possibilities that this particular employee will leave this company sooner than it is desired by the company. Once again, simply because this recruitment agency uh, used this information about this candidate to send him or her to another company. If this recruitment agency does not do this, but information about candidates can get to other recruitment agencies. So once again, not everyone is incredibly honest in this business. So if you work with recruitment agencies as a company, know that um, your new employee can be attracted to another company. But of course, there are many pros which I have described right now. What are other ways of acquiring talent? Once again, reminding you that talent acquisition is the entire recruitment and selection process when a vacancy in a company is filled with a hopefully well-qualified new employee who fit the organizational culture of a company very well. So when we talk about ways of acquiring talent, we need to mention the target group. What is the target group? The target group is the desirable group, the desirable pool from which the company most desires that the new person will come from. For example, if a company works in the market, or for example, if it is, the company which deals with, milk. So this company will try to find the person for a vacancy who has had experience of dealing with food products. Of course, the company can hire someone who dealt with some furniture, and this may work. But of course, it would be better if the experiences are close. And another very important factor here is employee value proposition. What is an employee value proposition? Employee value proposition is a unique selling proposition. See, it is an argument by the company when the company says, why should somebody work for them? See, when we were having our first class session and we were saying that there are several trends which really affect how HR departments work in organizations, we were saying that there is a talent shortage now. And this issue has been around for some time and definitely will stay in the future. It means that there is not enough of talent around. There are not enough of candidates who can be quickly hired for vacancies in companies. And when I say candidates, I mean the candidate who really fits the requirements of the company, who has adequate education, who has good experience, who is a good team player, who has at least relatively acceptable, moral character qualities. So not enough of qualified people available, which means that now companies need to present themselves as a good place to work. Before, when this talent shortage was not a problem, it was the company which had a luxury to choose from. So there were many candidates, and the company chose one out of very many. But now, since there is talent shortage, very often it is the potential candidate who makes the choice and who chooses between company A, B, and C. And so, and for example, these companies A, B, and C, all of them have vacancies, similar vacancies, and they are happy to hire this one person. And there's only one person available on the labor market. So, which means that very often now candidates have a luxury to not only to choose a company, but also to get more than the company originally wanted to give. For example, a candidate can ask for a higher salary, can ask for better bonuses, and since once again there is not enough of candidates around, so companies usually go ahead and give the candidate what he or she wants. So employee value proposition belongs to the same pretty much discussion. So the company needs to persuade potential candidates to work for this company. And this is one of the ways to do it is through employee value proposition, meaning the company says why it is good for you to work for us. Why would you be happy to work for us? It is, see, pretty much it is like advertisement of a company. It is like marketing of the company, but not of the products of the company, which is obvious marketing, but the advertisement of the company itself as a good place to work. And how do you write such employee value proposition? The first thing to ask is where are we strong and what can we offer to candidates? For example, let's take McDonald's. What can it offer? Who works in McDonald's? Usually these are young people, very often students, right? So to students, to young people, McDonald's offers job security, career opportunities, global presence, and time flexibility. So all of these are really valuable factors to students, to young people, and McDonald's underlines these factors in its employee value proposition, EVP. And when you let me see, McDonald's definitely has very many other good factors which would be attractive to potential candidates. But since the target here is a target group from which usually most of employees come from. For McDonald's, this is students, young people. So in EVP, in employee value proposition, McDonald's mentions only those factors which are most valuable and important for this target group, for the pool from which McDonald's gets most of its employees. Because simply not everything is relevant for that target group. So in EVP, only the relevant factors for this particular target group are mentioned. Let me show you how it is done. Here is creating an employee value proposition. Employer strengths. So suppose this is our McDonald's, and the employer strengths of McDonald's are A, B, C, D, E. And the target group preferences, young people, students, they are interested in A, B, C, and E. So McDonald's offers A, B, C, D, E, and young people are interested in A, B, C, E. And then the competitor strengths are competitors of McDonald's, fast food restaurants. They have their strengths in B, C, and D. See, it is useless to mention B, C, and D in employee value proposition because it is what other fast foods offer. So EVP should offer only the factors which are unique for McDonald's, which the target group is interested in. So here, A, B, C, D, E, target group preferences A, B, C, E, competitor strengths B, C, D, which means that in EVP, in employee value proposition, the company needs to mention only A and E. And by doing this, the company will immediately attract attention of potential candidates because they know what they value, they know what they want, and they know that they cannot get this from any other companies, but only from, for example, our McDonald's. So that's how you write employee value proposition, which really attracts attention. And potential factors for employee value propositions are many. Once again, the company this company should choose according to what we have just discussed. Just let me give you an examples of what can be used in employee value proposition. For example, what the company offers: compensation, benefits, career opportunities, work-life balance, task, meaning work, attractive tasks and projects, work flexibility, international work, innovations, impact. About the company itself: products, services, technology leader, market leader, success, location, public reputation, security, customers, etc. People: employees, personality, qualification, level of employees, collaboration, diversity, values, company culture, leadership, quality, famous leader, trust and respect, purpose, environment and climate, social responsibility, health of others, quality of life, and so on. See, these are all potentials for employee value proposition. So, and there are, of course, many others. These are just examples. And the company writes then its EVP, which can be really irresistible for potential candidates. And also the company needs to create its own employer brand. So when we talk about employer brand, we need to differentiate between the product brand and employer brand. The product brand is, it deals with the question, why should the person will think, why should I buy this product of this company? And here it's once again the standard advertisement. The company describes the product, its function, price, quality, innovation, prestige, and design. So these are the features of a product that may be of interest to people, to customers. But when a company creates its own brand as an employer, then the question is, a person is thinking, why should I work in this company? And here, then, the company talks about itself, about what it does, about what it can offer to people who work there, about people who work there, about values, about products. So the company simply paints a really nice portrait, we could say, of itself. So potential candidates will be attracted to it. Once again, there are very many positions now for which it is hard to find candidates. So companies do their best to attract candidates. And with executive search process, that's what I mentioned earlier, headhunting. Headhunting is when top management levels in the company, these positions are being filled in. So this is what I wanted you to know about recruitment in a company. Foundations, these are all pieces of information for you in terms of recruitment. How you create a pool of potential candidates for the company. How you make sure that people are becoming and hopefully have become interested in your company, and that the people really apply to work in your company. Hopefully, you have created a good list or pool of candidates, and now you can start choosing from this pool. And by doing this, you will be involved, we can say, in the selection process, candidate selection. So please remember these two stages, recruitment and selection. So selection of one candidate out of the list of candidates is, we can say, is to a degree, it is like a guess game. Let's imagine that there are several candidates and a company needs to hire the one, once again, whose performance would be the highest. And there are four possibilities here. If we compare the actual performance, high and low, and predicted performance, high and low. See, when a company hires a new employee, the company wants to get the highest performance from this employee as possible. And this performance is a combination of qualification, education, job skills, and the character of this person, disposition, ability to work with others. So all of this creates the way how the person performs and what level of value the person creates for the company. And so when a company selects out of the list of potential candidates, once again, it is like a guessing game. So here there are, as I've said, there are four possibilities. The first one is, okay, the candidate has been hired and the person now is an employee in the company. And the person shows the company when was thinking about hiring the person. So the company saw that the performance of this person would be high. But in reality, it turned out that the performance is low. Of course, the company has made a wrong decision. See, high predicted, low actual. So this is the wrong decision. When a company was interviewing someone and was thinking that the performance would be low and actual was low, this is the right decision and the company didn't hire the person. So the best outcome is when the company was thinking that the performance would be high and the actual performance really was high. So see, this is the only right decision best for the company out of four possible decisions. So see, selection is in a sense a guessing game. Of course, HR and the entire company is using lots of information, but ultimately it is guessing. So would the person be as good as we predict him would be? And when we yesterday were saying that whatever method the company is using for recruitment and selection, what it needs to have is job analysis and job description. Job description is pretty much description of a job, requirements, whom the position reports to. So pretty much what this position needs to do. And job analysis leads to job description. Job analysis is understanding the nature of a job. And when we say understanding the nature of a job, meaning it is necessary to understand what the job is about. And when we talk about what the job is about, we need to mention so-called critical incidents. A critical incident is a moment which happens regularly at a job, and when the possibility of failure is high, unless this position holder has really, good skills and competencies. Let me give you an example. For example, it is a restaurant, and a critical incident is when there are very many customers. Customers are grumpy and hungry. Customers are impatient, and a waiter needs to know how to deal with grumpy and impatient customers. So a waiter needs to be friendly. A waiter needs to be able to move quickly. A waiter needs to have empathy, meaning the waiter needs to understand the feelings of customers. Or, for example, another critical incident. Some guest wants to know some little details of a particular dish. So this means that the waiter needs to have some culinary knowledge of all the dishes on the menu. So these are examples of critical incidents. So once again, issues which are repeated very often, and if they are not dealt with adequately and accordingly, then it will be pretty much a fail. Okay, we'll skip this. So just remind you that steps of a selection process: application, pre-selection, going through the interviews, series, telephone interview, the first one, then personal interviews, maybe several, assessment center. We'll talk about assessment center later in our course, and acceptance of job offer and hiring. And when we talk about selection methods, there are many of them. And selection methods in their cost are different. When the company deals with the first stages of selection, such methods are not expensive. For example, looking through a CV. Usually it takes about 10 or 11 seconds for a recruiter to look at CV. So that's it. So not expensive, right? But the closer the person is to the position of being hired, the more expensive all the methods of selecting the one best candidate become. For example, assessment center. What is assessment center? Assessment center, let me just go ahead and say a few words here. Assessment center is a method which includes, different tasks. For example, solving case studies, participating in teamwork, and so on and so on. And this method simply tells more about the candidate than a CV or interview do. So assessment centers, see the title assessment center doesn't have anything to do with some specific center. It's simply the name of the method. So a person can fake that he or she is a great team player, while the person is awful team player, by simply writing in the CV, I'm good team player. So it's easy to write this. But if, for example, assessment center has different exercises in which a person needs to participate with others in teams to solve different problems, to reach some tasks. So it is one thing to write on your CV that you are a good team player, and it is another thing when you actually participate in a team project. Um, so assessment centers provide significantly more information about the candidate, but as you may guess, assessment centers take lots of time and are expensive. And that's why, as I'm saying, the closer the person is to the point of being hired, the more attention is being paid to the person, and the more expensive the methods of choosing this one best person are becoming. So when a person is having interviews with the company, see what both sides want to know at an interview. Let's look at an applicant first. An applicant is thinking, why am I invited? What does the company, what did the company like in my CV that they have invited me for the next interview? Another question that definitely applicants and candidates are interested in is, what can the company offer me? Level of salary, bonuses, non-financial remuneration. So applicants are thinking about it all the time. Also, an applicant, a candidate is thinking about the company. What kind of an employer are you? No one wants to work for companies which do not have any respect for work-life balance, which are unethical, which treat their employees as slaves. No one wants to work for such companies. And there are such companies on the labor market, on the job market. And so a potential candidate also is trying to evaluate the company in terms of what type of employer the company is. Another question, what distinguishes this company from others? And another question is, can I afford working in this company? Why is this question here? Because sometimes the company looks good and other employees in the company seem to be really nice people to work with, and the company works in the area which the applicant really is interested in working, but the salary level, for example, is low. Overall, the financial remuneration is low. Non-financial may be really good, but people need money to live on. That's why if the financial remuneration is low, so the person has a question, can I afford working in this company? Will I be able to have my ends meet if I work in this company? So this is always the question that people are thinking about. So these are all the issues that candidates have in their mind while they are going through the selection process. And the employer, the company, also has its questions. Why are you here? What can you do for us? See, a candidate is thinking, what can the company give me? What can the company offer me? And of course, it's salary bonuses, but then once again, work-life balance, career progression, developmental opportunities, good people around, respect of my views, and so on and so on. And the company is thinking, what can you do for us? Can you help us reach our goals for the company? Can you help us become where we want to get on the market? So the company is thinking about it. And of course, the company always thinks about what kind of a person are you? No one wants to hire someone that will be really intolerable to work with. No one wants to hire someone who will constantly deal with others without any consideration, who will think only about himself and herself, and in their strive toward their personal career progression simply will put down everyone as they try to get to the top of the company. No one wants to deal with such people. And that's why, as I was telling you earlier, companies are very cautious about this question. Another question is, what distinguishes you from others with the same skills? And then company thinking, can we afford you? So some candidates, when they realize that the company is interested in hiring them, when they realize that they are at the can fill in the bottleneck position, and the bottleneck position is the position which is very important for the company, without which the company cannot function, and also the position for which it is difficult to find someone because there are not enough of available candidates. So when a potential candidate realizes this, so he or she really increases demands for this company, and then the company is thinking, can we afford you? Yes, you fit our requirements, but you want so much that we are not sure, can we afford you? So these are all the questions which are going on in the mind of the company, we can say. So any selection process is the applicant, the potential candidate, is thinking about all physical questions, and the employer, the company, is thinking about the question. What are the typical questions at an interview? And this here I put together 5 questions, and they are standard, typical questions, and you may very well encounter them at your next interview at your next company. For example, a company always wants to assess strategic thinking of a candidate. So the question may be the following: how does the work you are currently doing affect your organization's ability to meet its goals? Do you think your work is important in this regard? Of course, the company wants to assess the planning abilities of a candidate, and such question as, describe a time when things didn't turn out as you had planned. How did you address the issue? So also very wide spread question to assess planning abilities of a candidate. Another factor that HR people and the company usually try to assess is interpersonal skills, interpersonal factors. For example, such question: give example of a situation when a group of people you worked with on a regular basis had a serious conflict. How were you involved in the conflict? What was the outcome? So, as I said, company always tries to assess these interpersonal features of a candidate. And the company also wants to assess your communication abilities. Such question: please tell about a time when you really had to pay attention to what somebody was saying, actively seeking to understand the message. By this question, the company is trying to understand whether you are a good listener, whether you can listen, whether you can understand what another person is trying to say, the way this person is doing it. See, people communicate differently, and when you were taking organizational behavior course, I'm sure that you noticed that there are 3 major players in communication process: a sender of the information, a receiver of the information, and noise. And noise is anything which disturbs the message, which distorts the message, so that the message which was sent, which had been sent by a sender, is actually different from the one which the receiver received. And there are different types of noise. For example, emotional disconnect, when someone doesn't like it, one another, great noise. Using professional slang when other people do not understand it, it's a type of noise, and so on and so on. And so communication is about, you know, understanding that noise is present and kind of going through all the obstacles to really get the message of another person. So the company usually tries to understand, can you do it? And companies may also use so-called puzzle questions. And with such questions, the company is not looking for some right answer, but it looks for logic and reasoning used to produce an answer. And this is usually used to evaluate, analytical skills. For example, how many times an average person uses the word "and" per day? Such question. So the wrong answer is I don't know. Of course, this is the wrong answer. A good answer is a person is talking about 4 hours during a day. In a minute, a person says about 10 sentences. Every sentence usually had a word "and" in it. So in an hour, a person uses about 600 sentences, which comes up to about 2,500 words and per day. See, once again, the company is not looking specifically for some answer, but the interviewing person is interested in logic and reason, which you use there. Here, you may use absolutely different logic and come up with absolutely different number than here we have this 2,400. But that's okay, as long as your logic and reasoning sound adequate. So this is good. And other criteria assessed during an interview, which we need to mention, are motivation, mobility if necessary, technical skills, very important now, leadership qualities, and of course, team playing abilities. And now let's say a few more words about assessment center. So with assessment centers, as a company needs, usually the rule is that for an assessment center, there must be at least 2 assessors, better 3 assessors for every 2 candidates who are assessed. Why so many assessors? Assessors are people who are observing, are experts who are observing candidates when candidates, complete different tasks. And these assessors pay really, really close attention to the candidates, and they make notes. And then they discuss their notes with each other, and then they simply kind of issue a grade for candidates whom they observed. For example, a company wants to hire someone who has good team abilities, who has technical skills and knowledge, who is motivated, and who has leadership abilities. So special exercises are created in the assessment center to assess these factors. For example, there definitely will be a teamwork when a team will need to achieve some goal, will need to do something so that all team players participate. And as people are working on a project, the assessors are paying attention to the participants and given their grades. Okay, this participant A looks like this person is really willing to work in a team, is paying attention to team members, is asking questions, is trying to understand. Okay, the person gets, 5 points for this exercise. And another person interrupts, is not listening, wants to be the leader without trying to understand others. Okay, this person gets, 1 point for this factor. And then these points are discussed by assessors, and each person receives kind of the grade. And such assessment centers are often used for selection purposes. Okay, we can skip this. And quality of selection methods. All selection methods which are used, they need to be valid, of course, and they need to be reliable, meaning all methods which are used in selection needs to not be subjective. They need to really measure what they intend to measure. See, as you probably have understood by now, the entire talent acquisition, recruitment, and selection process is laborious. It requires those who are involved into this process, um, recruitment managers, recruitment specialists, HR managers, HR directors, and then functional leaders, department heads, and then even the top managers of the hiring company. All of them need to have empathy. All of them need to understand the candidate well, and all of them really need to work hard to bring the good person to the company so that everyone will win. The new person will be happy to work in the company, and the company will be happy because this person creates great value for the company. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. Let's see whether you have questions.
No, no questions. Everything is clear.
Okay, if there are no questions, so please look through all the sources loaded in Moodle, and we will be seeing each other for the next class session. And now I wish you to have a good evening. And I wish you and would like to say you goodbye for today. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great evening as well. Bye bye.